Hello everyone and welcome to another TGN World of Warcraft video with Rurikhan. So in my latest video I went over the strategy for Magma as a Holy Paladin, and in this video I'm going to show you a rather bad attempt at doing Omnitron defense. Now, like I mentioned in my previous video, we are a semi-hardcore guild. We're not actually hardcore, we're only raiding 3 nights a week in Out of Ashes. And this was one of the videos that I recorded quite a while ago from Omnitron defense. This was actually in one of our first raid attempts at doing Omnitron. I'm not going to spoil the surprise of whether we down him or not. I will leave that for you guys to figure out. And I'm going to try and cover the strategies that you should be using for this particular boss, which is pretty much a pain in the ass, because if you look at how much stuff is happening at the same time, doing it a play-by-play and trying to give out tactics, it's actually a pretty pain in the ass. But I'm not going to do it the other way, which is to tell you, oh, this one does this one does that, this does the other, because I don't like doing videos like that. I like improv, I like it on the moment, I'm doing it live, all that kinds of stuff. So basically, yeah. So let's try to cover this. Now, this is the 25-man normal version of Omnitron defense, and we already have 2 casualties because people didn't dodge the green ads. So there's three guys here, which are the Arcanatron, the Toxitron, the Flametron. I don't know what the actual name of the Flametron is. And there's one more. I don't even remember their full names, but at the moment I believe that we are beating on Arcanatron. And what you want to be careful with Arcanatron is that he will target 3 people every now and then and will make a whole bunch of damage. But besides that, whenever he is active, he will also make a blue thingy on the floor. And if he happens to do that, your tanks and DPSers have to make sure to interrupt every single cast. In fact, every single cast should try to be interrupted whenever possible. And whenever he gets the blue puddle, you have to interrupt it really fast, and the tank has to move it away. So the fire guy... Sorry about that. I'm actually quite sick. But the fire guy is actually called Magmatron. The general works of these bosses is there's 4 robots, and there's only 2 of them active at each point. When a new robot goes active, the other one goes inactive, but he gets a shield. If you DPS that shield, your raid will take damage, lots of it, which is a pain in your ass, obviously. Magmatron does this nasty AoE. You want to save your AoE heals for when Magmatron is active and is doing his nasty AoE. As you see there, Magmatron begins to cast Barrier. The Barrier is the shield I was talking to you about. Whenever one of these robots casts Barrier, you have to switch target to the other robot. So right now we're actually on Electron. And basically what you got to do in Electron is you got to keep ranged from other players. I don't know which exactly is the range, but you got to stay spread out, because he does a chain lightning, which if it hits too many players, people will die, because I do believe it increases damage on each player. I know I'm not giving you out precise tactics, especially because I really don't know them, because as a healer, I don't need to have as much knowledge of the fights as a tank usually has. And to be honest, I'm really focusing on learning what's best to do from a healer standpoint. So basically in this fight, as a healer, what I usually do is just stay the fuck away from everything that looks anything that's bad, and try to survive. Now, at the moment, the active construct is actually Toxitron, and what you want to do on Toxitron is nuke him down, stay away from the ads that he makes. These ads that he spawns, in 25-man he spawns 5 ads, and what happens is the ads will target 5 random people. these random people will get a debuff called Fixate. And if you get this debuff, what you have to do is you have to run away from the ads. Make sure that you run away from them, because if the ads touch you, they will explode, you will die, and there will be a huge puddle of green goo. Well, not goo, it's actually gas, I believe. A huge puddle of green gas. Well, whatever. Green gas, green goo, it's all bad. So you want to make sure you avoid that. That's actually one of the most dangerous parts of the encounter. Your DPS will want to make sure to slow them down with whatever they can. Slow traps, piercing owls, I don't know, whatever you can do to slow them down. And nuke them down if you're not targeted. If you're not targeted and you're a DPS, you want to nuke down that green stuff as much as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Dodge the green crap. Dodge the ads, and yeah. Now, regarding Magmatron, he does this AoE flames, and besides the AoE flames, he also does this, which is the acquiring target. When he does acquiring target, you should see a red laser coming out from his hand, which will go directly to one player. That player needs to move away from the raid and make sure that wherever he ends up, the laser isn't picking up anyone along the way, because basically Magmatron will nuke the crap out of that player. And what you got to do is you got to make sure to use defensive cooldowns. Like a Paladin, it's an awesome time to use your bubble. If you're a warrior, you can also switch to defensive stance and shield wall. I mean, there's basically lots of stuff that you can do. If you're a rogue, you can use recuperate while you're getting targeted by that crap. So yeah. Once again, whenever these constructs make their shield, you have to remember the switch target, because if you keep on nuking the shield, your party is basically going to die. Now, these constructs have a shared health pool, which makes them basically all go down when one of them dies. And you can always only damage the active one. So yeah. I've already gave you a little bit of a rundown of what the fire one does. You want to make sure that if you get the laser, you move away from the raid. And if you get the AoE, you want to make sure to use your AoE heals. If you get the laser, also remember that when he starts breathing flame onto you, you want to make sure to go ahead and pop some defensive cooldowns. And yeah, your tanks are going to be basically picking them up as they show up.
Get ready for the ad.
Usually when one of the ads casts the shield, another one will start charging up. That means that your tank will have to actually still tank the shielded guy for a little bit, but not make damage. Do not make damage, just take some damage and whatever. When the new guy becomes active, the tank that was tanking the other one that had the shield has to pick up the new ad. And basically this carries on as a vicious cycle. New ad forms up, guy that was on the inactive ad picks up the new ad, and that's basically it. Now, regarding a Canatron, you want to make sure to always move him away from the blue puddle. But if you are a ranged DPS or a healer and you see a blue puddle on the floor, you can stand on it, because it will increase your mana regeneration. At least it used to back in the day where we made this boss. I'm pretty sure it still does. Regenerates your mana, increases your damage, does all kinds of good stuff. Now, I actually got fixated here, if you see, and basically I ran away from the ads, waited until some DPS killed my ad before going back into my position and resume healing the group. Green puddles on the floor, you want to make sure to move away from them. That's pretty basic stuff. Stay away from the bad. The only good thing there is in this
keep dispelling him.
In this whole fight that you can stand on is the blue stuff. Now this red, the Magmatron guy, basically here is going to be doing the acquiring targeted on me. As you can see, I move away from the raid and I just basically spam heal myself while keeping everyone else up. In fact, I actually pop bubble here to make sure that I didn't take that much damage and can keep healing everyone up. And as you can see, we are having a few fatalities here. This was caused because a lot of people kept on DPSing one of the constructs after the shield, which basically makes him gain, I believe he gains some kind of a buff that he starts making a whole bunch of damage. I don't know exactly what happens, because as a healer I don't really have to worry about it that much. And we're kind of past this whole wiping stage on Omnitron. In fact, we're at the moment doing Nefarion, working on Nefarion 25, man. We've just cleared Bastion of Twilight, which is pretty good progress for our for our guild standards, to be honest, because like I said, we're semi-hardcore. We're only raiding 3 nights a week. We already got Cho'Gall down. I think we're doing pretty fine. Now, as you can see here, at the moment we are struggling against Electron, and he's about to go down. And like I said, Electron is just about the spreading out. Now, I realized that during this video I might not have covered all of the abilities, but I believe I've covered the main ones. If you're on Arcanatron, make sure you keep him out of the blue shit and nuke him down and interrupt his abilities. If you're on Toxitron, make sure, I mean, not if you're on, if this construct is active, because there will always be 2 constructs active. If Toxitron is active, you want to make sure to pay attention to whether or not you get fixated. If you do not get fixated in RDPS, you want to nuke those ads down. If you do get fixated, you want to get the hell away from dodge. Other than that, there will also be pools of goo on the floor. You want to make sure you dodge that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I really want better focus on those
Now
ads.
I'm going to leave it
really
with
silly. I don't
Vicky's
want to see that
words of
happen
wisdom.
anymore on any other bosses. And I hope I'm very clear. Because else I'm going to boot some people out of this raid for tonight. And I'm going to boot them so damn hard they can't sit on their ass for at least a week. I hope I'm very clear now. And make certain you start focusing up. Now, the loot.